Hi guys, it's Shira7. Today this video came by request since everyone knows I love Michael Jackson. And it's more for, it's more than just being a huge fan. It's more of a deeper, spiritual, esoteric reason. So I would like to go into that a little bit today. Now, if you don't know much about, esoteric things or alchemy or, any higher level of spirituality, not religious, but, spirituality, then you should go and, learn a little bit first so that you can understand this video better. But let's start off with questions about why Michael Jackson did certain things. As you can see, I'm wearing my Billie Jean jacket. Okay, why did Michael Jackson wear the glove? The sparkly glove. He wore this white, sparkly, see how it catches the light, glove on his right hand. The right side of your body and the right hand symbolizes the right side of God, on the right side of God. Your right side of your brain is your more emotional, spiritual, intuitive, feminine side of your brain. And then your left side is your more logical, masculine, mathematical side of your brain. And this is more like art and color and, creativity. So this is why he wore the sparkly glove, because he was a very spiritual man. He wanted to imitate the greats throughout history. And being that his name is also Michael, if you're familiar with the Bible, it says Michael sits on the Michael sits on the right side of God. And he is the right hand of God. And his name is Michael. Also known as, also said that, the light of the world. And all the things that Michael Jackson wore caught light and sparkled. And of course, he was known worldwide. Sorry. And then also, he fashioned a lot of his clothing and songs around kind of channeling or portraying the Archangel Michael. So, hold on one second. It's known that the Archangel Michael is the chief leader, army angel. He leads God's army. And so look at this. You ever notice why Michael Jackson was always dressed like he was in the military or marching with police officers or soldiers? Well, that's why. Also, he's this Archangel Michael is the patron saint, because he's also Saint Michael, of the police and the military. So that's another little tidbit. Also, he has a lot of pictures like this. See? Army, army, army. And he says they're the army of love. I think he said in one video. Sorry, I'm trying to get this. And then this is the cover of his history album. He's like a soldier. He has the statue. And basically he's become an idol. Like, an idol for music, the world, whatever. But that was the persona he had in entertainment. So, and then this CD cover, if you look at it, this has lots of hidden meaning in it, and it's by itself. See, if you know anything about alchemy or right and left, on one side you have the moon, on one side you have the sun. See the sun? Then you have the Michael in the middle with the crown, and that represents kind of like the mixture of both masculine and feminine. And like we all know, Michael was very androgynous looking, you know, but his spirit, his mind, his soul were blended, and he could appreciate the masculine and the feminine side of his brain. So, my kids just walked in the room. So, and also you'll notice, like, on a lot of his clothing, he wore lots of buckles and belts and weird looking stuff that no one really understood. Well, I'll show you this picture. Right here, see the buckles and the belts? Try to get a close-up of that belt. So, okay, as I was saying, see his belt buckles and all his badges, police badges, that is, you know, patron saint of the police. And also, he also had to have, at all times, on him, when he was performing, 7 blue lights. And that's also some background in how there are 7 archangels, or 7 angels, and, you know, he's the chief one. Oh, and also, this is something very strange. Do y'all remember back in 2011 when they had the earthquake in Japan, the major earthquake, and just blew up the nuclear power plants and released all that bad stuff in the air and flooded the whole country? Okay, this is a calendar, a Michael Jackson calendar, for that, the very day and month that it happened. It happened on March 12th or March 11th, right? March 11th or March 12th. But look at this calendar. It goes from 11 to 13. And there's no 12. It skipped 12. So, and then for some strange reason, the calendar lines back up perfectly and it's correct the rest of the days. I understand that, but it was very strange that that event happened on that day. So I was like, you know, a lot of people say he was into, you know, the Freemasons and whatnot and blah, 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 blah. So he was trying to tell people certain things in advance, and that's why he was murdered. But, you know, everyone has their secrets. And also, the fedora hat is symbolic of also angels, or kind of like their halo. Also represents a high Freemason as well. They wear the fedora. That's what that symbolizes. If you'll notice, there was this movie, and it was called, I forgot the name of that movie, but this guy, he had to run for office, and he fell in love with this lady on a train, and these people were trying to stop him from falling in love and stay on his course, and they were kind of like in and out of the dimension. So they all wore fedoras, and they all had to wear fedoras in order to go through these portals and doors. I'll get the name of that movie, but I'm sure people will remember. It has Matt Damon in it. But it was a really good movie. So that fedora hat symbolizes angels and also Freemasonry, blah, 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 blah. So I have this book on angels and Michael, of course. If you look at this, it doesn't look like Michael, but if you look at his belt and his outfit, kind of reminds me of the picture I just showed you on the calendar. You know, the bad outfit with the belt buckles and all the armor. So, yes, that's that simulation. And he also represented duality a lot. Like, Black or White, you know that song. Then Thriller, one minute he's a monster, the next minute he's normal. There's two sides to every man. You know, he kind of reflected a lot and talked about if you want to change this world, you change yourself first, because that's where it starts. And I love this picture right here because it's man in the mirror. And he always represented himself as a king, someone who was very noble, royal in spirit as well. So he's also was very much into ancient Egypt. Sorry, I got interrupted, but yes, so he's portraying himself here as an Egyptian pharaoh or a Heru, and that bird behind the pharaoh's head often represented knowledge. And so that's telling you right there that he has great spiritual knowledge behind him. So a lot of people just thought he was just this great entertainer, but everything he did had spiritual meaning. Even the video, which was the #1 selling album of all time, Thriller, the video is done in what they call Fibonacci sequence, which means it's like sacred geometry in the way the timing is done in intervals of numbers. So that's genius. I'm sorry, but it is. And also, here's a few of his album covers. I don't know if you can see these, but like this one right here, Invincible, where one of his eyes is more pronounced than the other. It's the right eye, of course. And it's called Invincible, which means, you know, you can't die. You'll never die. There's nothing that can take you out. So really being a legend and a spiritual being, you don't really believe in death anyway. So as our bodies leave and decay, our spirit, our energy, our legacy, our legend still goes on. We never die. And that's one of the things he wanted, you know, to talk about in that Invincible song, on that album. Also, this one right here, Blood on the Dance Floor. I don't know if you can get a close-up of this, but you see the checkerboard floor and the background looks like a skyline, and then there's smoke going up like something exploded and blew up. It's actually the New York skyline, and that's Michael Jackson on the dance floor. That's kind of symbolic of Freemasonry, that floor. And the video of that is also very symbolic if you want to check that out. But this album cover is saying that he kind of knew it was going to happen, like on 9/11. And that video, that album was made in 1997. So that was a prediction, or a warning, or whatever. And also, the day before 9/11 happened, Michael Jackson was actually in New York City, and he was supposed to meet with someone in one of the towers, and he canceled that meeting. He's like, no, I'm not going, because he said he knew that something was going down, so he got out of Dodge. A lot of other things he knew about that he also, kind of predicted that no one really talks about. On one of his on one of his concert ticket stubs, I think it was the Bad concert ticket, and it was like the Twin Towers, and he was pointing to the Twin Towers, and it said dangerous. No, it wasn't the bad tool, it was dangerous. It said dangerous on there. So you can check that out. Also, sorry, I'm going to take that jacket off. It was super hot. Okay, it's summertime, so. Also, people are always asking, oh, why did he wear that armband on his arm? Well, it's the same reason for the glove, the right arm, the right hand of God. You know, that's what that represented. Also, he, over the years, his face and hair and clothing. Also, the reason why people said that, oh, why does he wear makeup, and why is his skin so light, and why is he starting to look more female? Well, again, the androgyny and spirituality actually is, you know, your true self, you know, your soul, your spirit, you know, is both. Just like God is both masculine and feminine. So he was just portraying a God-likeness on earth. Prince does the same thing in his androgyny. A lot of rock stars wear lots of makeup and wear the tight clothes, you know, the same reason. If you notice, it's just, I think it's going to be an evolution of androgyny in the future, because I think that's where everything is headed, towards oneness. And to become one, you have to be both sides of, you know, masculine and feminine. So I think that's also what the Twin Towers represented, masculine and feminine. And of course, everyone has their own theory about what really happened, but who cares? Let's just say this. A lot of people died. It wasn't very nice of what whoever did this did. But these people think on a higher level of spirituality. They think that souls are recycled and we'll be back, and our body is just the flesh and we will live forever. So the sacrifice of few people is like nothing, you know. They don't really care. They're like, oh, your spirit lasts forever. You're gonna be back, you know. So we don't really care. But that's still no one's choice to take away someone's life. So saying that, the Twin Towers represented the male and the female, and the day that they were struck and collapsed was the day that symbolically we were being told, the world was being told, that that was going to be the start of the end of duality. The start. I mean, if you really notice, after 2011, the programs on television started introducing more characters that were either androgynous or, you know, homosexual or lesbian. Just go back and do your research and you'll see that after 2001, just a flood of TV shows on the network, and people started coming out of the closet, and skinny jeans came in, and heterosexual, and all these terms just flooded, because symbolically, psychologically, watching 2011 was,
I meant to say 2001.
Subliminal message that the end of duality was coming. And look, now they're trying to build in its place one building, okay? So now you see where I'm going with that. And I think the airplanes, okay, symbolized winged creatures or winged flying whatever, you know, like on the old days in the Bible, they would describe or things coming out of the sky with wings. That could have been an airplane, and they just didn't even know because they didn't have the word airplane back then. But I think that symbolized like angelic or winged creature, just to make it seem more, you know, mysterious. So you have these winged things that destroy the two towers, and that's also in tarot cards. If you look at tarot card pictures, there are towers that are being burned in the background, and those represent the masculine and the feminine. So becoming one, it's not, you don't have to change your look, or you don't have to be more masculine if you're a woman or more feminine if you're a man, if you can contemplate and think like that, you know, on both sides. But I think they were trying to show the world, you know, this is how you become one. I mean, if you know anything about like alchemy, you know that there's Hermes, and he was walking along one day and he saw two snakes mating, and he struck those snakes with his staff, and poof, he became a woman for 7 years. And until he found another pair of snakes mating, which is like the Kundalini energy symbolically, and the staff is the backbone or spinal cord, and you struck that, and then he turned back into a male. So that's just, you know, saying that we have two sides of our brain, and we don't use that much of our brain. I wonder why. Because we can't use both sides together. Isn't that strange? And also, if you think about it, aliens or UFOs, they don't ever have a gender. They're just bald head, huge eyed, little bitty mouth, skinny creatures with no genitalia. So, to me, that is, you know, they're supposed to be more advanced and higher in knowledge, and they don't have any kind of gender. So obviously gender is in the way of our evolution for some strange reason. So I think Michael Jackson was saying all of this to us with his looks, his music, his dance, you know, moonwalking. Moon is symbolic of the female. Walking backwards instead of walking forward. You know, it's just, you know, a whole body of information that most people probably missed about Michael Jackson. So I'll make more videos like this, and I'll go into further detail. This is just kind of like an intro. I'll make some notes and, you know, point out specific things, and I'll have pictures and things to show you as well. But I just want to show you something real cute real quick. This is a baby MJ glove that I made for my daughter. She loves it. And it's so cute. But yeah, like that. And oh, I'll tell you a story behind these pictures behind me. This picture right here, I found this hanging up in a bar, and this bar, it like every couple of months they feature an artist, and they put like all their paintings in there. And that month I just happened to go in there and see this hanging on the wall. And there's also an Elvis one, and a few other people too, like John Lennon, Jimi Hendrix. And so I said, I have to have this one. So can you contact the artist and ask him if I can buy it? He said, of course. And I said, well, how much? He says, $25. I'm like, what? That's cheap. And then he says, oh, you can have this Elvis one too. I'm like, I don't want Elvis, but my, you know, then I thought about it. My mom loves Elvis, so I gave it to her for her birthday. So that worked out perfect. But If you have any questions that you want to ask about Michael Jackson, I think I'm probably an expert by now. So you can ask any spiritual, cosmetic, or whatever questions you have that I might can answer. I'll try to help. If not, thanks for watching. I'm probably going to redo this video and go further into detail and have it more organized, but right now this is just a little bitty preview of what's to come. So hope you enjoyed. Thanks. Comment and subscribe.